Have you ever wanted to feel sad on purpose? Not because something went wrong, but because part of you reached for that heavy mood, almost like it felt safer than calm or joy. If you've ever wondered why this happens, you're not alone. Today, we're diving into the hidden psychology behind the desire to be sad, and why some people feel drawn to emotional pain, even when life is going well. People rarely talk about this, yet it touches so many quiet moments. Why does sadness feel real in a way happiness doesn't? Why do some people seek it even when they know it hurts? And what does craving sadness say about the way we see ourselves? Let's get into the first piece of the puzzle. Some people don't chase sadness for drama. They reach for it because it feels familiar. And for the brain, familiarity feels safe even when the emotion itself hurts. When someone lives with sadness for a long time, it becomes more than a mood. It turns into a steady backdrop, something the mind learns to expect. That's where self-verification comes in. This is a psychological idea that says people tend to choose feelings, relationships, and environments that match how they see themselves, even if that self-view is painful. This doesn't mean people want to suffer. It means they want their world to make sense. And if someone believes they're the sad one, then sadness becomes the emotion that matches their identity. So when life gets calm or hopeful, that peace can feel strange or even unsafe. They might slip back into sadness because it fits the story they've lived in for years. Here's the quiet part most people never admit. Sadness, when familiar, can feel more honest than joy. Joy feels fragile. Joy feels like something that can disappear at any moment. But sadness is steady, predictable. It doesn't surprise you, and that reliability can create a strong emotional pull. But this identity pull is only one layer. There's a deeper force that actually drives people to choose sadness on purpose, and it has nothing to do with who they think they are. It has to do with what they think sadness will help them do. Sometimes people choose sadness because they believe it will help them handle something inside. This isn't about being comfortable, it's about being in control. Researchers found that some people don't try to escape sadness, they use it. They turn towards sad music, sad movies, and sad memories during emotional stress. Not to feel worse, but because sadness matches the tone of what they're trying to work through. This creates an internal sense of alignment. For someone who feels out of control, choosing sadness on purpose can feel like shaping the storm instead of being trapped inside it. It's a way of saying, if I'm going to feel something heavy, I want it to be a weight I understand. This is where emotion regulation goals come in. These are internal choices about which emotions people believe will help them deal with a situation. And for many, sadness feels like the right emotional tool for reflection, honesty, or processing pain that has no clear answer. Here's a simple example. Think of moments when you didn't want to cheer up, when someone tried to lift your mood and it only made things worse. It wasn't because you enjoyed hurting, it was because the sadness helped you stay with something you needed to confront. Some people also slip into rumination, which is the cycle of replaying heavy thoughts again and again. Rumination doesn't feel good, but it feels active, like you're doing something with the pain instead of ignoring it. That activity can feel important, even when it's draining. But emotion regulation is only the second layer. There's another force underneath it, and this one is even more surprising. Sadness can create a feeling of meaning, and meaning is powerful. Sadness hurts, but it also carries a sense of depth. This is the paradox that pulls people toward emotional pain. Sadness can feel true in a way joy sometimes doesn't. Psychologists have found that sadness can sharpen focus, increase detail-oriented thinking, and make people reflect more honestly about their lives. That reflective state can feel grounding. It's why people often turn to quiet nights or old memories when they're trying to make sense of something. Sadness also feeds into the idea of meaning-seeking sadness. Some people find that heavy emotions make their experiences feel deeper, more real, and more personal. It's not the pain they're chasing. It's the sense of understanding that pain brings. In a world that pushes constant positivity, sadness can feel like the only place where people let their guard down, the only place where thoughts slow enough to hear what's going on inside, the only place where nothing is fake. But meaning alone doesn't explain craving sadness. There's a physical layer beneath all this, a hidden link between emotional pain and the body's reward systems. And that's where things get even more complicated. Sadness is not only emotional, your body reacts to it in real, physical ways. This matters because the brain doesn't treat emotional pain as something separate from physical pain. It uses many of the same pathways. This is why heartbreak feels like pressure in your chest and rejection feels like a sting. The brain lights up in areas linked to physical pain. But here's the twist. Those same pathways also connect to the system that calms pain. That mix of hurt and relief can create a strange loop. You feel the pain, the body releases chemicals to soothe it, and for a moment, there's a sense of quiet. Not happiness, but a small break in the storm. That break can feel addictive, even though no one is trying to create it on purpose. People who already lean toward sadness may feel this cycle even more. Their emotional systems are tuned to expect heaviness, so when sadness arrives, the body responds like, "I know this feeling, I know what to do." That familiarity creates a soft internal reward. It's not joy, it's not peace. It's more like the body whispering, "You've survived this before. You can survive it again." This subtle physical relief is one of the reasons sadness doesn't always push people away. Sometimes it pulls them deeper. But this isn't the end of the story. Because even when sadness becomes a habit, it also creates social consequences. And those consequences reveal something important about what people are really searching for. Sadness doesn't stay inside. It shapes the way we connect with others, and sometimes it gives people something they don't get from happier emotions. Some people use sadness as honesty. When someone says they're fine, but their eyes say otherwise, sadness becomes the only place where the truth feels safe to show. This isn't manipulation, it's vulnerability turned inward. It's the feeling of, "This is the real me." For others, sadness becomes a quiet form of connection. Friends respond more deeply, people listen more closely. Someone who feels invisible might finally feel seen when their pain comes to the surface. On the other hand, sadness can push people away too. It can be isolating, it can build walls, but even that can become part of the pattern. Alone with their feelings, some people believe pain is the one place no one can judge them. This brings us to the hardest truth. A desire to be sad can be a signal, not of weakness, but of needs that have not been met. Maybe the need for meaning, maybe the need to understand yourself, or maybe the need to feel something when everything else feels numb. Sadness gives shape to all of that, but it also takes something every time it returns. If sadness feels like the only place you recognize yourself, then the pain isn't the real problem. The real problem is what you lose every time you go back to it, and what you're afraid you might find if you ever let it go.